everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's Kiki, which is more scams, past and present, coming back to bite Erika and Tom Girardi in the butt. And this time, their connection to the Los Angeles Secret Service is being revealed. Don't forget that it was also revealed that, we say allegedly his love child was one of the top Los Angeles local FBI agents that was actually tasked with overseeing his investigation. It came out that Tom and his mother had a sexual relationship for many years. She used to be his secretary. Tom had given her hundreds of thousands of dollars. The $1.2 million home that she currently lives in was also bought by Tom Girardi. So it's not surprising that more is coming out of the woodwork, just knowing how deep and how far and how corrupt Tom Girardi's scheme goes. But Erika is also being called out in this fraud scheme. So we're going to get into it. But before we do that, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a Kiki is always better with community. And check out our description box down below. Grab our newsletter. It is 100% free. Check out and you get a free self-love guide, get our podcast, books, and courses, and more. And just for you guys, we have a special little promo of our Art of Self-Love Masterclass. So I'm going to show you the little promo for it, and then we are going to dive into this new claim against Erika Girardi for $800,000 and how it is revealing Tom's connection to an LA Secret Service member. So watch. So that was just a little promo for our Art of Self-Love Masterclass. And now let's get into the mess. So this breakdown is according to Reality Blurb, but this story broke in the LA Times. Thank you, Anita. Thank you. I appreciate that. That is for our Art of Self-Love Masterclass. If you have any questions, it's all linked in the description box on the masterclass. So let's get into it, you guys. Erika Jayne accused of attempting to, and this is what Juanita said. She said, Candy, I love the intro. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate that. Okay. Erika Jayne accused of attempting to scheme company out of $800,000. Details revealed as the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star speaks out and denies the claims, shocker, plus potential role of Tom's Secret Service friend. Erika Jayne and her husband, Thomas Girardi, are being accused of attempting to scheme a Hollywood costume design business out of $787,000, just as Thomas publicly declared he would give $100,000 of his own money to a client he failed to secure a large settlement from. Side note, I don't know how Tom Girardi is saying that he has anything that's called, quote, his own money. Because at this point, when you've stolen millions and millions and millions of dollars, I think you no longer have the right to say anything is, quote, your own money. How do we know? When you have stolen the amount of money you have stolen, I don't think there is such a thing as, quote, your own money. Also, it's giving Diana Jenkins vibes. What I mean by that is, remember when Diana Jenkins lied and said that she was going to donate $100K to the Lion Air victims through the fraudulent charity that she started, literally just to lie and say she did? Do you remember that? It's giving that vibes. Like, it's the same exact number, $100,000. And for him to say his own money, Thomas, you don't have any money at this point. I mean, I think he actually has money, but I think it's still victims' money, right? Because I don't think he has the right to say own anymore. I don't know. It's just giving very fraudulent vibes. I need to do a deeper dive into that, but I wanted to just flag that for everybody, okay? Now let's keep going. According to a new report, the alleged scheme involving the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star began in 2015 when Lorenzo Robert Savage III, head of the LA office of the U.S. Secret Service, hoped to increase a settlement offer made to him by Volkswagen over a defective braking system in his family's van. After being left disappointed by the outcome of his Volkswagen class action settlement, rhobh brought Thomas to his case in November of 2016. As the Secret Service launched an investigation against Marco in regard to potentially unauthorized charges to Erika's American Express card. So these are two separate things going on at the same time. Okay? The Secret Service, which is responsible for protecting the president, also has the authority to investigate some types of financial crimes, which include credit card fraud. The Los Angeles Times shared details of both cases, noting that amid concerns over Erika's growing American Express balance, Thomas agreed to represent rhobh and his wife Michelle for free in hopes of scoring a big payout. But while Thomas may have been motivated by the potential outcome of the case, it's also worth noting that he and rhobh were reportedly friends for decades. So this is saying that Tom and this LA Secret Service guy, rhobh, had been friends for decades. The Secret Service guy isn't satisfied with how much money he got out of a class action lawsuit against Volkswagen. He says, "Hey, Tom, I want to bring you in on this because I want to make a bigger payout. I want more money from this lawsuit." Tom says, "Yeah, that sounds good. I'll represent you and your wife for free." By the way, at the same time, the Secret Service is starting to investigate Erika because of her American Express bill, how out of control it is. They want to investigate if there's some fraud going on. Excuse me. Mind you, that this Robert Savage guy is the head of the LA office of the U.S. Secret Service. Doesn't that remind you of who else was the head of an LA office? Remember when it turned out that the head of the FBI local LA office was the son of Tom Girardi's ex-mistress and secretary? And they look exactly alike, like it might be like a love child situation. He's got friends in high places. But let's keep going. The Los Angeles Times shared details of both cases, noting that amid concerns over Erika's growing American Express balance, we went over that part, sorry. Dun, 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 dun. In addition, Michelle's family had known Thomas for even longer, with two of her relatives interning at Girardi Keys years ago. That's the wife. The wife is Michelle. Michelle is the wife of rhobh. Rhobh is the LA Secret Service guy, one of the heads. During a court appearance in December 2016, a judge expressed frustration with Thomas regarding the Volkswagen case. This whole sequence of events is extremely problematic. U.S. District Judge Hayward S. Gilliam Jr. said, I have a really uneasy feeling about the way this has gone down in terms of respecting and following my orders, and I can't tolerate that. If the court thinks I intentionally did something wrong or tried to do anything inappropriate, that doesn't work for me. So I personally would pay him $100,000, Thomas replied. Although the case was dismissed the following day, Rhobh said he never received the $100,000 payout from Thomas. Instead, he claimed Thomas gave him a check for $7,500, the exact amount of the Volkswagen class action settlement. My wife and I were happy that we received what we would have received if we had remained in the lawsuit, he insisted. Then, the very next day, after Erika met with Rhobh at his office in downtown LA, the Secret Service equipped the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cast member with a microphone as she met with Christopher Sala, the owner of costume company Marco Marco, to discuss what she claimed were $800,000 in fraudulent charges. As the Times explained, Christopher reportedly acknowledged excess billing of just over $100,000 initially, blaming his bookkeeper and saying he and his partner, designer Marco Marante, take full liability and responsibility. However, after Erika said the amount was $800,000, Christopher changed his tune, saying he didn't know how that could be even possible. The following month, in January 2017, Marco Marco was raided. And 4 months after that, Christopher, who eventually changed his tune on his bookkeeper, was indicted on 9 counts, including identity theft and wire fraud, as Erika's American Express account received a refund of around $787,000. We couldn't even fathom that. It just seemed insane to us, Marco recalled of the allegations, stating that Erika was not only a customer but a friend. Marco was even featured on an episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So basically what they're saying happened is this. This guy, Rhobh, is the LA, like one of the top LA Secret Service guys, right? He's known Tom for decades. His wife, Michelle, has known Tom for even longer. Her relatives have interned for Girardi Keys. Now, after they tried to scam Volkswagen out of $100,000, and that didn't work because in that particular case, the judge was like, no, not on my watch. I don't know what scam you're doing. It makes me feel very uneasy. And he dismissed the case, okay? So that scam did not work. So then the next scam they do is this. Rhobh then mics up Erika as she goes into this designer, Marco Marco, and it seems as though there had been a legitimate discrepancy of about $100K. That's what it seems like. But Erika said, oh, it's not $100K, it's $800K. And he was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, you know, we deal in like designer stuff. 100K makes sense, but like, you're almost talking about $1 million here. And then so they say, no, that's not true. She leaves. And then later on, the designer and his partner is raided. And then as a result of that raid, Erika's American Express account received a refund of around $787,000. And that's why he said we couldn't even fathom that. It just seemed insane to us. So it seems like they're doing sort of like they're being an opportunist, right? So there was kind of this discrepancy around 100K, but let's say it was actually around 800K. And then let me get my LA Secret Service guy in on this so we can get this kickback of 800K. Throughout his years-long friendship with Erika, Marco designed several outfits for her, including ones that were seen in her music videos for songs such as How Many F's and Expensive. And at the peak, Erika made up to 20 to 30% of their business. However, when it came to billing, Erika gave her American Express information at her first fitting, telling Christopher and Marco that she didn't need an invoice. Although there didn't appear to be any issues at first, Thomas ultimately confronted Erika about her bill. Tom comes home and says, "Your Amex charges are really out of control," she recalled in an interview. So Erika did some research, and after finding an unapproved charge for $5,000, she called Christopher, and he reportedly agreed to reverse the charge. But an additional charge was later discovered, which prompted Erika to do a more thorough review and to arrange her December 2016 meeting with rhobh at his downtown office. Because Erika didn't have all of her receipts, challenges arose. And despite his initial admission of guilt, Christopher has since declared that all of the charges to Erika's American Express card were legitimate. Side note, Christopher and Marco, stop lying. Stop lying. This is what I think happened, and let me know what you guys think. I think Christopher and Marco were scamming. I think they were scamming Erika. I do. I think they thought she was, the wife of this super rich, wealthy lawyer. She just puts down the American Express card. I don't even need an invoice. I don't need to see the price tags. Just whatever I want it. And I think they took advantage of that. I think they said, "Hey, listen, you gave me your American Express card. You're not checking the bill. You don't need a receipt. You don't have any paper trail. All right, I'll take 5K here. I'll take a grand here. I'll take 10K here, blah, 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 blah." So I do think they were scamming Erika 100%. And then I think she turned around and scammed them right back. I think they scammed her out of that 100K. And then she got together with rhobh, the LA Secret Service guy, and was like, "Hey, we have him on the hook for the scam for a 100K. How much can we get out of this? How much can we milk this for?" And then they scammed the scammers and saying, "It's not 100K you scammed us for. It's 800K you scammed us for." And then American Express, who, don't forget, is also being sued in this whole situation, not for this particular situation, but in the Girardi situation in its totality. Then they were like, "Oh, that you're saying that's how much it was. This is a raid by the LA Secret Service. This must be legit." And so they turn around and refund her that almost 800K. So she's really getting away with about $700,000. So it seems like she scammed the scammers, okay? But with the help of this LA Secret Service guy. You know what I mean? Let's keep going. Christopher has also, quote, "lost complete trust in the justice system," giving a nod to the way in which Thomas seemingly swayed the legal system in his favor due to his legal connections and his friendship with rhobh, who retired from the Secret Service in 2018 and insists the two cases were, quote, "completely unrelated," which was not disclosed amid the proceedings. That was what I was up against, and that is terrifying, he stated. Christopher, stop. You were scamming too. You just got scammed more. After Christopher was faced with years behind bars and a business that was nearly destroyed, prosecutors quietly dropped the case a year and a half ago amid questions regarding the evidence and whether or not charges should have ever been filed. Now the indictment against him is being described as a scheme that cost American Express losses in excess of $700,000, even though the counts of fraud were based on charges totaling less than $63,000. So basically exactly what I just said. the Christopher Marco designer team, whatever they were doing, Christopher Marco, whatever, I do think they were scamming Erika for about $63K to about $100K, whatever. Let's just say, 100 just to round up. And then they turned around and scammed them for $800K. American Express paid that. So American Express got scammed at about $700K. And I think the reason why they're saying should charges have even been brought, in my mind, I think morally and ethically, yes, they should have charged Christopher because he was scamming Erika. I think Erika and Tom and this rhobh Secret Service guy, they also need to be charged. But let's do one thing at a time. I do think Christopher should have been charged because I think he really was scamming her. Did they have enough evidence because she didn't ask for invoices? She didn't ask for receipts? I don't know. Because like we always say, there's a difference between what you know to be true and what you can prove in a court of law. So you can know somebody is scamming you. But if you don't have the evidence, that's a different story, right? Do I think that they used their power and their influence, particularly because this guy, rhobh, was a Secret Service guy? Hell yeah. You know what I mean? The LA Secret Service is raiding you in your business. Who's going to question that? No one's going to question the Secret Service. Nobody's going to question that. American Express didn't question it. That's why they gave her the $800K. Ridiculous. Okay. Let's keep going. According to the Los Angeles Times, American Express, who refunded the money to Erika's card after being contacted by the Secret Service, did not perform their own investigation, nor did they question Christopher and Michael. Basically, they didn't do their due diligence. But I'm not even mad at American Express because I'm going to be honest. I think the average person, corporation, unless you have like some type of heads up, if the Secret Service says this is going on, you kind of comply. You kind of believe it. If the FBI says that or something like that, you kind of comply, you go with it. I don't see why they would launch their own investigation if they think, the Secret Service is saying this is what happened, So, yeah, crazy. Let's keep going. Okay. In a statement, a spokesman for American Express said they followed our regular processes and procedures throughout this investigation as we dealt with law enforcement. We did not play any role in the criminal investigation of Mr. Sala or his business other than responding to inquiries from law enforcement. American Express, I believe you on that. To fight back against the potentially unfounded charges against him, Christopher used a payout from his father's life insurance policy to hire a veteran criminal defense attorney who ultimately raised questions about the nature of the case as well as the motivations behind it. Stanley Greenberg, an ex-federal prosecutor, said it was odd that the Secret Service took such a garden variety fraud case. I agree with that. 100%. Sorry, guys. I agree with that because it really is it sounds weird, but it is a garden variety fraud case, right? Rich woman goes to designer, hands over American Express, never looks at the receipt, and they just start making, miscellaneous charges, here and there, and they rack up. It's a pretty average, boring, no-brainer, no fluff fraud. So it is interesting that the Secret Service would be so interested in it. Also, the amount isn't that much, maybe to the average Joe, it's like, whoa, 100K, 63K. But to the Secret Service, to the feds, that's really not that much money. So I don't really know why the Secret Service would get involved other than for the fact that rhobh is friends with Tom Girardi and they saw a way for them to make some quick cash. I'm sure that they gave rhobh, he's retired now, but he was the top LA Secret Service guy. I'm sure they gave him a kickback. He got a percentage of that, of the fraud. They basically got away with $700,000. That's almost $1 million, fraudulent money. And I'm sure he got a kickback for his participation. Also, he's also has shown that he's willing to be a part of a scheme and a fraud and a scam. He was with Tom Girardi trying to scam Volkswagen out of more money, but the judge said, no, the class action suit has settled. You are entitled to $7,500, not the $100,000 that you're trying to get with Thomas Girardi, and it makes me uncomfortable. So clearly he's willing to scheme and fraud. But what I think is funny is that this Christopher and Marco guys, I know they're trying to play like they're the victims here, but to be perfectly honest, they're really not the victims. American Express is really the victim, because unless American Express charged Christopher and Marco with that $800,000, unless they charged it back to them, Christopher and Marco kind of got what they should get for being fraudsters. Your business should be destroyed. You should be facing charges if you are defrauding. And this is the thing. If you were defrauding Erika Jayne, you were probably defrauding other people. Scammers usually don't have just one victim, particularly like white collar crimes and fraud crimes. They usually have multiple victims over multiple years. So this Christopher and Marco designers, I bet you they've been scamming a lot of people. So if I were them, I would shut up and go away before their other clients are like, wait a minute, let me go check my American Express bill. Because Christopher and Marco, you guys are scammers too. Erika Jayne, Tom Girardi, and rhobh in this situation were opportunists. They took the opportunity of your scam to scam you back. That's basically what happened here. You all are scammers. There's no victims in this particular situation, except for, honestly, American Express. All right, let's keep going. The Secret Service just seemed to have a very intimate role in this whole thing, and it included getting money for Tom Girardi and not bothering to question one of the main witnesses, he noted, signaling to Marco. Everything just reeks of the fact that they were doing some kind of favor. And after Christopher provided evidence he claimed proved the legitimacy of 100 disputed charges, Stanley, quote, realized there wasn't a discrepancy at all and reached the point where he wasn't going to let Christopher plead guilty. See, the reason why I'm kind of suspect on that is because it already said that Christopher had already admitted to the fraud. And then when he realized that he was being defrauded, then he tried to backtrack. Anyway, although Stanley planned to call Thomas and Erika to the stand as witnesses, his subpoenas were quickly met with a call from the prosecutor on the case, who told him the charges were being dismissed. She said, "We took another look at the case," he said. In a statement, a spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office in LA addressed possible lapses on the part of the Secret Service. We ultimately determined that law enforcement evidence preservation issues undermined our ability to prosecute the case in the interest of justice-supported dismissal, the statement said. Basically, Christopher and Marco, yeah, they're guilty. However, there's a bigger fraud, there's a bigger scam, there's a bigger scheme going on, and it's going to expose the fact that the Secret Service was in on it. And by Secret Service, I don't mean the Secret Service in its totality. I mean this rhobh guy who was who was a LA Secret Service person. And so, like our justice system, it's usually like you let go of the little fish because you want to get the bigger fish. So they're not going to worry about, Christopher and Marco scamming Erika out of like $65K, $100K, when this guy from the Secret Service, Tom and Erika, just scammed almost $1 million from American Express. Let's keep going. But Greenberg said the prosecutor never told him about the lack of evidence. It's an absence in evidence because they did a sloppy job in the first place, he stated. And after attempting to go after Christopher for the $800,000 despite the American Express refund, Erika learned of the dismissal of the case. of the case on Twitter. Oof, 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 oof. I said, "How could you do this to me? I am at a terrible point in my life. This makes me look like a liar," she recalled. "Not that my reputation is in the toilet and Tom's in a home, of course. They are saying she did this. There was no reason for me to do this. And no way did I pull a scam to get $760,000 to help anybody get this money. The truth needs to be told here, and it's not some great fabulous story where I pulled a rabbit out of a hat for money." That's what Erika said. "Erika, how are you at all a victim? How could you do this to me? I'm at a terrible point in my life. This makes me look like a liar." Erika, you are a liar. Meanwhile, Christopher has been left to pick up the pieces. "I'm totally a shell of a human now," he admitted. "We really were forced to start from scratch," Marco added. Okay. Oof. So I want to know what you guys think, okay? Put it down below. Do you think that Christopher and Marco, the designers, were actually innocent? That they were not scamming Erika, and she and, Rhobh, the Secret Service guy, and Thomas Girardi just picked them out of a hat to scam? Do you think that they're actually 100% innocent the way they're claiming, and they just picked them out of a hat to scam? Or are you like me and you think, Christopher and Marco, stop lying. Y'all was scamming her, but on a very petty, basic level, just like the prosecution said. It was, I don't know what the word is, like, not alarming, but it was very telling. And that the Secret Service would take such an interest in such a garden variety fraud. I agree. I think Christopher and Marco were just running a very simple scam on Erika. And I think that Tom and Erika and the Secret Service guy said, "Hey, this is an opportunity. Let's scam the scammer." And they got away with it. Put it down below. Also, what do you think this means for Erika? Do you think this means more is coming down the pipeline? Also, what do you think it means for the investigation at whole? Because it just seems like there's always somebody who's like either the FBI, the Secret Service, a judge, an executive, who's been tied to Tom. Like I've said before, the FBI agent is the son of his ex-secretary and mistress. And now he has this tie to a Secret Service officer? It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So put it down below. Let me know what you guys think, and stick around my candy cane. So I'm take some of your candy cane questions and comments. But as always, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend, because a kiki is always better with community. And check out our description box down below. Join our newsletter. It is 100% free. Check out our courses. And speaking of our courses, here is a little promo for our Art of Self-Love Masterclass. All right, now let's take your candy cane questions and comments.